Lesson 45, translating between words and inequalities. We've already talked about translating between words and equations, and this time we're going to be talking about inequalities. So it says an inequality is a mathematical statement comparing quantities that are not equal. Okay? Our inequality symbols are less than, greater than, whoops, I put greater than twice. Scratch that, I'm sorry. Less than, greater than, less than or equal to, and greater than or equal to. If you need to write the name of those down in your notes, I would absolutely do that. You can rewind and play that back. Less than, greater than, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to. Those are our 4 inequality symbols. So, on the first part, it wants me to translate each sentence into an inequality. So, A, it says, the difference of 3 in a number is less than 0. Difference means I'm going to subtract, and then the next 2 things is what I'm subtracting. So, and in that order. So, 3 in a number. So, I'm going to put 3 minus a number. This means the difference of 3 in a number is less than. My symbol for less than looks like this, 0. That was an easy one, right? No problem there. B says the sum of a number in 1/3 is at most 5/6. The sum, you should know that sum means to add a number in and 1/3. So I'm going to write this as n plus 1/3. And it says it is at most. Now you have to kind of talk yourself through these. At most, what does that mean? Can it be equal to 5/6? Yes, at most. That's the most it can be is 5/6. So I'm going to put an equal to, because it's going to be equal to. And then at most, can it be more than 5/6? No, 5/6 is the highest that it can be. So it must be less than or equal to 5/6. And that's your final answer. I want you to try C and D on your own paper. Pause now. On C it says the quotient, which you should remember, quotient means to divide, of 1 and a number. So 1 and a number we will call n. So quotient, I can either put 1 divided by n, or I can put 1 over n, and this is the way that I prefer to write it, is at least 8. Can it be 8? Yes, it can be. So I'm going to put an equal to. At least. Can it be less than 8? No, it can't be, because the least they want is 8. That means it can't be 7, it can't be 7.9, it has to be 8 at a minimum, which means it must be greater than 8. On D, the product of 3 and the sum of a number in 7. So the product of 3 and the sum of a number in 7. Okay, there's 2 things going on. I'm multiplying 3 times all of this. And the way that I'm going to show that is by using my parentheses. I'm taking 3 times this. So it's going to be 3, this is the product because I'm multiplying. That number touching parentheses means I'm multiplying them. Sum means I'm adding. I didn't put multiply word product. Okay, sum means I'm adding a number in and 7. So n plus 7. This is the product of the sum, the product of 3 and the sum of n and 7. Okay, is at least 1. Can it be 1? Yes, it says at least. So that's the least that they want, which means it has to be more than 1. So it has to be greater than or equal to 1. This is my final answer. Example 2 wants you to write each inequality as a sentence. Okay? So, on A, I'm going to say, first of all, I can see that I'm dividing here, but I also see that I have this quantity on top here. So I'm going to have to say that one way or another. And I'm guessing that the way that you would say it would be the quantity of n plus 3, or the sum of n and 3, divided by -2, and then I have to say something for this greater than sign. So I'm going to write this out. if my pen will work. The quantity of n plus 3, or a number plus 3, divided by -2 is, what is it? This sign is greater than, so we're going to say is greater than -3, which I'm just going to write like this. Okay. On B, we would say the difference, and I'm not going to write all these because that takes way too long, as you just saw. Okay, the difference of m and 5 is less than 8. So you need to make sure that you write that out. I want you to pause, and I want you to come up with your own for C and D, and then you can hit play. So come up with your own for C and D. On C, I would say the quotient of a number, or A, and 7.2 is at least 4.6. Because at least means that it can be equal to it, but it has to be equal to or greater than. So greater than or equal to 4.6. On D, this one's very similar to the last one that we did on the previous example. Okay, the product of 6 and the difference of -5 and Z is at most 15. Okay, you could say those lots of different ways. On C, you could have said A divided by 7.2 is greater than or equal to 4.6. You can say that, but I want you to understand that in your book or on your test, they're probably not going to use the name of each symbol. They're going to use at most, at least, those sorts of things. Last example says Carol buys a large bottle of juice for $4.50 and apples for 25 cents each. Write an inequality for how many apples she can buy if she can spend no more than $15. Okay, so I know she bought the juice for $4.50 and she bought apples for 25 cents each. Okay, so I know she bought this juice, so I'm going to put $4.50. Plus, she's buying apples too for 25 cents a piece. So if she buys one apple, it's just 25 cents. If she buys 2 apples, it's 50 cents. How are we getting there? I hope that you can see that we're multiplying the number of apples by the amount that she's paying for each one. So I'm going to write 25 cents, and I'm going to use A for apples. And I want to know how many apples she can buy if she can spend no more than $15. $15 is what she has in her pocket. She cannot go over $15. She can spend all of that $15, but because she doesn't have any more money than that, that's as much as she can spend. So I know that 15 is going to go over here. I have to have a symbol letting me know that that's the most that she can spend. So she can spend 15, so I would say it could be equal to. Can she spend more than 15? No. So this can't be greater than 15. It must be less than or equal to $15. And that's your final answer on that one. So I hope that you've taken good notes, and I will see you in class tomorrow.